Ready to go? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the City of Henderson Board of Commissioners video teleconference meeting Tuesday, November the 10th, 2020. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster. Here. Commissioner Staton.
Here.
Commissioner Vowles.
Here.
Commissioner Buggs. Here. Mayor Austin.
Here. The first thing on our agenda today is we had a request from Tanya Ayer to speak to the commission, and I think Tanya is on.
I am. Are
Tanya,
you able?
Okay.
Yes. Are you able to hear me?
Well, you go right ahead. The entire commission is here, so you go right ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I just would like to speak to you today to have you thoughtfully consider an agenda item that is on what I saw on the agenda today regarding the Bent Creek annexation. While I understand the importance of the growth, I just don't think that's the appropriate time to do it. And there's a few points that I'd like to highlight in support of delaying this annexation. First and foremost, Bent Creek is truly not connected to the city by any means. We are on the south side of Airline Road, and there are businesses and homes on the south side that are between the city limits and Bent Creek that are not being considered in the annexation. And without direct connectivity and sidewalk access to the city, it does not seem reasonable that an annex to be carved out of a portion of the county. It just does not seem appropriate to do that. The second, my second point is that there appears to be the connection that in doing the annexation appears to be with the small triangle of farmland that's on the north side of Airline Road, that the owner has agreed to annexation as well. And this portion of land is not directly to the city, or connected to the city either. It's surrounded by Audubon Parkway, Audubon Road, and then directly across from it is also county property. The third thing is streetlights. As part of this subdivision regulations, streetlights are required. We currently don't have any streetlights in Bent Creek. Neither the initial developer nor the subsequent developer were required to put in streetlights, even though both were supportive of the annexation. It should have been part of both the initial and the subsequent development plan with the thought of annexation for the future. If the city truly expected Bent Creek to be part of the city, there was a failure to enforce those regulations. And given that the city does not provide electricity to Bent Creek, it seems very unlikely that this will ever be addressed in the future. Over the last 8 months, there have been significant economic downturns that have affected most of the residents of Henderson County, as well as our subdivision. With that, there is a significant concern about being able to meet the requirement of the increased tax burden. While it is apparent that the economy is affecting the city as well, it is not appropriate to target the residents of this subdivision at this time. Then finally, in consideration of the comprehensive plan of 2015, there is a section on mobility, with Bent Creek surrounded by county farmland, county homes that are not included in the annexation, a farm industry, and lack of sidewalks. The annexation does not meet the intent set in the comprehensive plan and the connectivity for pedestrians. While I understand and support the plan for growth of the city in Henderson, and by all means support that, with the current infrastructure, there has not been sufficient growth of the city, and it has not reached Bent Creek subdivision at this time. Therefore, given the lack of connectivity to the city and the recent economic downturn, I respectfully request that you vote against annexation at this time and look at it in the future when we are connected to the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have a question for Tanya?
We don't actually
Tanya,
have
we will
a vote for annexation on for today, right? There's just an update.
Just a discussion.
Yeah. Tanya, we will respond to you in some way on some of the questions that you had about the different things. So anyway, but
Okay.
we appreciate you being with us this evening, and we will talk to you again.
Okay, thank you. And if I'm happy to put this in writing, if you just tell me who to email it to.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
I said, if it would be helpful, I'm happy to send this by email in writing to someone.
We had someone taking notes on it, so I think we'll be okay.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Next on our agenda, we have a presentation from the Henderson County senior or junior high schools for the cross-country team. And Desiree, are you going to lead that off for your group?
Yes, sir. What I'll be doing is actually starting the presentation off with a brief intro video that was actually from last year's junior colonels race at Municipal, just so that I can kind of share that with everybody there, and hopefully you all enjoy that.
Okay.
You need to share your screen, please.
You'll need to share your screen, please.
We really need your support. We need your help. We need to make this an annual thing. We need to have this course. We need to have the city know that you have people that you care about this, that you love this, and this is what's best for everybody. Look at all the people that showed up. Look how many more people we can have.
See the video.
We weren't able to see the video. You would have had to share your screen, I think. You want to try it again, or you want to?
Yep. Let me try one. Oh, I see it here. I apologize.
That's fine. We could hear it. We just couldn't see it.
Now they can.
No. No,
I can't see
we
it
still
still.
can't see it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I promise you, it's riveting.
Okay, I'll bet. It sounded like it.
Okay, it should. Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, you got it.
Real bad! Real bad! Running is good! Running is good! Running is good! We got good! Who's got good? We got good! Who are we? Southville Cross Country! Messy! Good job!
We really need your support. We need your help. We need to make this an annual thing. We need to have this course. We need to have the city know that you have people that you care about this, that you love this, and this is what's best for everybody. Look at all the people that showed up. Look how many more people we can have. When you come out here and you support everybody, look what you're supporting. Look at all these people. This is Henderson County, everybody. Not too many places that brings everybody into one area. This is what we are trying to work with. This is what we are trying to create. And this is what we're trying to keep. Every one of you being out here shows that you support. Just support your kids, support everybody, and this is what we're here for. We're all here for them.
Okay, thank you for sharing that.
No problem at all. Okay, I'm actually going to have Mr. Ryan Monroe come up here to start us off, okay?
Good afternoon,
sir.
Commissioners and Mr. Mayor. Thanks for taking the time to hear from us today. Really, I'm here. I've been a part of some of the planning and really kind of helping out with the whole cross-country program here in Henderson as I can. But really, I got drawn to that just as a parent of a runner. And really just wanted to address the commission this afternoon, just to let you know, really the good things that cross country brings to not only our schools and our students, but what it can bring to Henderson as a community. Some of the things that I've gotten to see cross country teach my own kids, commitment to goals and struggling through adversity, but finding a way to make things happen, having guts, having grit. Those are some of the intangibles that these kids pick up when they get out there and participate in this. And really the coolest thing, if you will, about cross country is just the inclusion. It is a sport, especially, really from top to bottom, from the high school all the way to the elementary schools, where if any student is going to come out and run, and they're going to train, and they're going to, put forward the effort, they're going to be a part of that team. They're going to have a place to call home and teammates to support them and pick them up when they're having a tough day and help them finish a race. So it's very unique in what it brings. As far as our proposal goes, a lot of this I think is really kind of attached to the schools, but what I really want to remind the commission is we're looking at this not only as something for the schools, but really something for Henderson as a community. So the Henderson Community Colonels Cross Country course is really what we're looking to get established. This isn't a completely new idea. It's not something that's novel to only us. Bowling Green has 3 facilities that do the same. Paducah has one, Elizabethtown has one, Bourbon County has one. And those are just to name a few of the places that we've gone and had events that in those areas, those teams have a place to call home. What we'd be looking at doing would provide public access. Again, while our teams are really in need of a place to call home, we want this to be something that can benefit the whole community. So public access to grass running trails that can be tied into the Riverwalk, give Henderson residents and visitors a more expansive area to be able to get out, enjoy some exercise and just the area downtown. More than anything, this would really provide a safe option for 5Ks with no need to have police blocking off the streets or anything of that nature. It would allow a community course where we can have different events, fundraising activities, have nonprofits able to set things up and get out there safely and not have to worry about traffic. More than anything, yes, while the community is something that, or the community as a whole would be able to benefit from this, our schools absolutely need a place to call home. It is very frustrating not being able to have an invitational that brings people into Henderson. I'm also a soccer coach for North Middle School, and I really can't imagine what it would be like to not ever be able to have a home game. That is something that for our cross-country coaches, for the runners, it has to be something that is tricky to navigate and get through. So having a place that can be called home and a place that they can get used to and run at, I think is very important. And really what we're looking for is some kind of multi-year agreement so that the planning that goes into these seasons for the elementary, middle schools, and for the high school that can be given some sort of continuity, so that when the planning goes into effect, the first order of business isn't simply, oh, where can we find to go? We already have that established, and we can really get into the other things that are important to get those events together. So having a multi-year agreement and just a year lead time if something were to change with that is what we'd be looking for. So that's all I had today. Again, I appreciate everybody's time, and I'm going to hand things over to South Middle School's cross-country coach, Ms. Coral Haynes.
Thank you. Hello, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity to talk to you guys today. We really appreciate it. Many of you, those of you that know me, know I'm pretty passionate about cross country as a sport and what it can do for our kids. So I'm going to try not to be as long-winded as I usually am and keep this as short as I can, but still hit the things that really are important for us. So I guess, we are asking for a multi-year agreement, and some of the things that I'm going to talk about is going to explain why that's so important to us. But I want to lead off with the reasons behind we're looking for this from a coaching perspective. So, up until a couple years ago, the high school was still really struggling trying to find enough runners to have full teams at the high school level. 6 years ago, most of you by now have heard of the Junior Colonels Cross Country Race Series. That was started 6 years ago for our elementary schools, and it has evolved and become something pretty big. So we started out the first year with elementary only. Next year we added middle schools. By the third year in, we had evolved from just inviting anybody that wants to come out and run to actually having sports teams. And by last year, 8 of our 9 local elementary schools and all 3 of our local middle schools had teams on the lines for the Junior Colonels events. Those events bring in 150 to 175 runners per race. So this is not a small thing. That does not count the parents and the spectators and the siblings that come along with them. And the video that you guys were shown at the beginning does not give you a really full effect of all of the people that were there last year, because there's a race that comes in and then they leave and another race comes in and so on. So by the time they were scanning that audience, that was the award ceremony, and a lot of people had already gone home. So it's a really big event so far, and it's growing, and our feeder programs are doing the job, because now in the last couple of years, our high school is able to field full teams. And for the first time in 20 years, our girls team qualified for state last year and got to go back to state again for the second year this year. So this is really, it's helping from the ground up, and we hope to keep building that. And because like Mr. Monroe said, Coach Monroe to me said, with the uniqueness of our sport, it's unlimited. So there's no tryouts and there's no bench. If you want to run, you come out and you get to run, you get to be part of that team. And even more unique is that you don't just get to practice, you get to compete. So except in the championship meets, you can, in almost every meet, you can put unlimited runners on the line. So we get to have kids that are sub 6-minute milers, as well as those kids at the back of the pack that get to work towards being the best they can be as well at those 14 or 15-minute milers as well, and get to see some of them really grow and get a lot better. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of kids to be involved in something that maybe wouldn't be otherwise. It's also a great asset to a lot of other sports for our multi-sport athletes. When you get to a school the size of Henderson, a lot of times kids that have set their sights on a particular sport, it's pretty competitive. They may not be able to make the team in that sport. It's another thing for them to fall back on as well. So the biggest thing is we need a place to call home. Like Coach Monroe said, you got a soccer team, meet out on the field, that kind of thing. Well, our cross country teams need a place to train. Our Junior Colonels, that's been going on for 6 years, has been held in 3 different locations. And even when it's been held in the same location, 3 years in the beginning and then last year and this year at Municipal, every year we have to start over. We have to reinvent the wheel. So every year we have to go out and we have to measure and mark multiple distances for training and for our races. It is very, very time consuming. It's a lot, it's hours and hours of work. And I'll be honest with you, I don't mind that. I love cross country, I love what I do. I don't mind to put the work in, but I would really like to be able to, and I know the other coaches would as well, be able to put that time into the runners and into coaching, actually doing the coaching with the kids versus, you know, having to go out and reestablish a new course every year. So what we're looking for is some level of stability. We're looking for some level of just having an established place where our coaches and athletes can go out and they can train and know what they're getting into, and so that we can grow. The 150, 175 runners coming out for these races is nothing to what we can actually have. And we want to be competitive with our neighbors over here with Davis County, and I know that we can if we keep growing this. So the next question is, why municipal? Why do we want this piece of property? Our athletes need an appropriate and safe venue in order to train and compete. And as I said before, we need an established course that we can count on. It needs to be well routed and defined for our runners and also for our spectators. We don't want a whole lot of loops. We need it to be well marked and well maintained. And Desiree is going to see if we can split the screen here for a minute and show you our 4K course from this year. And this year, our 4K course was 4 loops. That's kind of awesome for spectators, but it's not so great for the runners. So basically, if you can kind of see, you've got got different colors there: white, yellow, orange, and blue. Can you guys see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect, great. All right, so when we're doing that 4-loop course, you know, that becomes a little difficult for the runners to keep up with where they're supposed to be and our course monitors and that kind of thing. So we're hoping to be able to actually extend our use of the property onto the partially wooded area that goes down towards the playground and behind the clubhouse as well. And Brandy, when she speaks, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But so one of the things, you know, a loop or two is fine. That's great for spectator friendly. We want that. We want parents to be able to see their kids while they're running as much as they can. And municipal is great for that because it's in a somewhat contained area. That means it is it can be spectator friendly for races, but it also has enough area and it's varied enough that it doesn't get boring for the runners. And when we're talking about, you know, spectator friendly, we're talking about being visibility. And that takes me to my next point of safety. And safety is a huge issue when it comes to our runners. And we don't want them out running on the roads. We need a place where they can go and be safe. And visibility is pretty important, especially when we're talking about including elementary and middle school runners. And like we talked about, the variability of paces. You got 6-minute milers and 12 and 14-minute milers. They're not going to be in the same place at the same time. I need to be able to see my kids. And at municipal, I may not be able to see them all every second, but none of them should be out of my sight for very long. I can do my version of a sprint and get to the top of a hill and see who I need to see. And, you know, that's a huge thing when it comes to safety. Also, there's quality footing there, and from, you know, most of the area there at municipal with hardly any work being done at all is pretty safe for that as well. So that's important for if we, like Ryan Monroe mentioned as well, if we wanted to do like public 5K fundraisers, you know, where you don't have to block off the streets and that kind of thing. Visibility would be great. My son said last year in a 5K race, he almost got hit by a car. So that's not a good thing. So it'd be nice if we could have, you know, an area where we could have a 4K and 5K and it'd be safe, visible, and that kind of thing. We do want this, while I'm speaking as a coach right now, we do want this to be open to the public. We're huge advocates of that. You know, when you've got all these kids coming out to these races and kids coming out to practices and things like that, they often bring siblings and parents come out and they walk and run while we're practicing. And, you know, it's a good community wellness kind of thing. They're going to come out and they're going to use the property as well. I think not just during practices, but at other times as well. So that's something we're really advocating for, is public use, not just for our cross-country teams. We really want to combine just like the outreach that we have with the community and the schools for the past several years, where we have businesses, you know, promoting the kernels and, you know, ambulances and things like that with the kernels on it. You know, that's kind of our idea, the community kernels cross-country course. And as Coach Monroe mentioned as well, this is not a new thing. There are parks all over the United States, I don't know about that, but all over Kentucky that are partnering with schools to offer this opportunity. And one of the biggest things, and I'll end with this, is the appropriate terrain for our trainings. we need grass, and we need hills for training. And this is a challenging and motivating and exciting course that we're using right now. We call it the Beast or the Monster. We did a quad race just recently, and for the first time we had a team from out of the community that came in to race against us. And they came to the race, and they were planning on coming the next week to a second race. And after the girls' race was over and before the boys' race started, the College View Middle School coach came up to me and said, "I don't think we're coming back next week." And I said, "What?" And he said, "This is just too hard." So, okay. He said, "Well, we've got state meet coming up and I don't want my kids to get beat up." So he called me after the meet and said, "Yeah, scratch us out for next week." He said, "We're not going to come back. It's just really hard." He said, "One of my runners said, 'Coach, if I can run this course, I can run anywhere.'" I said, "That's right. That's the mentality we're trying to develop here. That's what we want. We want our course to be tough. We want that sense of pride and mental and physical toughness that comes from that." And this past Saturday, we were at the state meet for our 6 and under teams, and I was waiting to pick up awards, and I heard somebody say something about Henderson, and we're in Paris, Kentucky, almost 4 hours away. And I heard it again, Henderson. And so my ears kind of perked up, and they said, "Yeah, I really like Henderson." And I looked over, and it was College View, and they had a runner, and some of the coaches and parents were standing there. And I said, "Did you say Henderson? Are you talking about our course?" And they was like, "Oh yeah, that's where we went and ran that." Yes, that's, and the runner said, he said, "Man, that's what I just said. I really like that course." And I said, "It's a lot harder than this one though." And they said, "Yes, it is." And they said, "We want to come back. Are you going to have that course next year?" And I said, "Well, I sure hope so. We're trying." And they said, "Well, we want to come back and we want to train there because that's a tough course. And we really want to come and train on it. We just didn't want to do it right before state." So when I told our kids, our runners, when we told our runners, this is what we're looking for, this is what these teams said about your course, their faces lit up because they know now that means they're tough. So we're going to get t-shirts that say we slayed the monster or something like that. So I'm sorry.
Let me ask a couple of questions, please.
Sure.
And we're going to have to move along.
Absolutely.
What is the season? What months?
So we generally start kind of pre-season training in April.
April, all right.
And then we train throughout the summer, and our season is August till 1st of November.
Okay. And could you, if we're going to have to study this with our parks department and some things like that, this is actually a city park. So
right.
We've got, so we're going to have to look at that. If necessary, could you put together a calendar for the months between April and November on what days you would need to use the facility?
We could do that. I mean, I'm going to say that, generally speaking, that it's usually, Monday to Friday after school. And then, during the season, then there might be some Saturdays or something if we did meets, but usually we do our meets on weeknights. Okay. But we can do something formal if you'd like.
If we could work something out on this, maybe we could reserve those dates on one one permit. But we'll just have to see about that. One of the issues that we had several times last year was the parking along Elm Street. And I know that was a fairly major issue because there was only one lane left on Elm Street after people parked on both sides of the road. I think if we could come to any plan on this, I think that's something that would have to be taken care of under some circumstances.
I think that's something that we are working on, and something that Brandy was going to mention in her part here in just a second.
Okay.
I think also as this becomes hopefully something that's more established, we'll be better able to make sure that our people know where they are supposed to park and where they aren't. I think last year was the first time that we've done it out there, and trying to just that communication and that kind of thing is going to get better as we keep moving forward as well.
Can we bring Brandy in and let her have a
Absolutely.
couple of minutes?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. All
Mayor,
right. Thank you all.
we received a question on Zoom. And the question is cross-country open to all students in the Henderson County School System?
Did you hear that?
Is cross-country open to all students in Henderson County schools? Was that the
Yes.
question? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now,
That's a question we had come in from someone watching on Zoom.
okay.
Watching
For
the meeting,
elementary, I would say that the schools themselves will determine what grades they do cross-country teams for. Usually it's either 3rd through 5th or 4th and 5th. We do also offer open races at the junior colonels for kids of usually kindergarten and up that can come out and just run a short race for fun. But as far as the sports teams part, that's probably going to be something that each individual school would have to answer as far as what grades in the elementary level.
Okay, thank you. Let's
You're
bring
welcome.
Brandy in and give her a couple of minutes here.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you like to do whatever? Sure.
Hi, Brandy, welcome.
Hi, how are you all?
Good.
Good. I promise I won't be long-winded, or I will try not to be. We're gonna pull up a map of what we would like to, what we envision as a group, what we have come up with and what we envision. One thing to address specifically the parking that you brought up, I want to note 2 things. One, that was whenever those situations occurred, that was during the junior colonels races. So that is a substantially larger number of students and parents that would be out there at that particular time than on the day-to-day whenever we're hosting practices. So we have 2 different suggestions to help remedy the parking situation. One would be that during the times of those races, the hospital has typically extra parking down in this lower area over here and at the Atkinson Medical Building as well. As we continue to develop the cross-country program, that is something that we would essentially just need to train parents on where to park. And once they know, I like to think that most of our Henderson County parents do a good job at following what they are instructed to do whenever it comes to parking and sporting events. And then we also have on our wish list is this area over towards the clubhouse. We have a little blue line there where the current parking lot is for the clubhouse. But we would like to see if at some point us and the city working together could further develop that parking. I know that parking lots are rather expensive, but I feel like that gravel as far as parking would be an acceptable area up there by the clubhouse. And I know that at one point I had heard the number that the clubhouse is rated for around 40 people. So that would even be beneficial whenever the clubhouse is rented out as well for private events, whenever someone rents it from the city. That would just allow that much more parking for that. And I think that it would make using that clubhouse even more appealing because even similar to Denton Shelter, it doesn't take very long and the parking's filled up. So adding to that parking area somewhere down the road is what we would like to see. Let's see. Then a couple of other things that I wanted to touch on is that this is an extremely, extremely low cost, what we feel like would be a solution that would be beneficial to the entire community, not just Henderson County Schools, not just the cross-country program, but to everyone in Henderson. It's low cost and it's low maintenance, which I know makes it even more appealing for everybody because the city does have a lot of area and a lot of space to maintain. We're already mowing the area anyway we as a city are already mowing the area anyway. So once we could get it in, it wouldn't be a substantial amount of extra maintenance for anyone to handle and take care of. As far as to touch on something that Coral had said, we're talking 175 plus kids that are currently running in Henderson. Now, of course, this year's a little different with COVID. Elementary school hasn't been able to do anything. But I don't know as though we're going to find any other solution or any other use for this property that is going to benefit that many families at that low of a cost. We already have a group of parents that are here that have come together to and voice that they're ready to support this as well. We have local businesses that are already backing the idea and are ready to say, okay, we're ready to help however we can. We have people, whenever we go in and put in the course, we would need to mark each path depending on which varying distance each path is. So like one path will be for a 1 or 2K, one will be a 3, 4, and so on, up through 5K. So marking those paths would require a little bit of funding. We would need to be able to set some posts that would have directional signs placed on top so that those who are out there utilizing the course, both school and community, would know which path they're wanting to run. One idea that was tossed around was having local businesses sponsor those posts, and that's beneficial for them. They get a little bit of advertisement out of it, but it also shows that they like our idea. They think that it's beneficial for everybody.
Brandy, I'm going to have to ask you to be brief. We have 12 other things on our agenda tonight, so I'm just going to have to ask you to kind of wrap up with your most important point.
Like the full cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll also email them the cost.
Okay, so all of you all have a copy of the cost that we came up with, is correct?
Who now?
No.
A copy of the,
Let's email that.
Austin, is that what you were emailing to us?
Yes.
Austin,
You're on mute, Austin.
yeah.
I think I just sent the agenda. Was that the only thing I
The
had?
cost is on the other page.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here and I can share that with you guys.
I don't think we're going to need that tonight, but we are going to need it to get to each of the commissioners.
Are you able to see the
A
cost
little
now?
bit later.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so just glancing at that, like I said, we need very minimal things to get this done. And then even at that, we're looking at a very low number for what the total cost would be for what we anticipate getting this put in and up and running. And for just over $6,000, I think that's a pretty good price tag to benefit everybody in the community and leave the park also where others can enjoy it, leave the green space there so that anybody can still go out and use it, but it would be also beneficial for the Henderson County cross-country teams.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thank you very much. And Austin is going to go ahead.
I was just going to say, I didn't know if anybody that was with us from the Henderson County Schools would like to say something very quickly.
I tell you, it would have to be really quickly. Austin, was that on your sheets?
It is on there. It's the second page
Okay.
there, so it is there. I didn't realize it was there. Yeah.
And I thank you guys. I thank you guys all for your time. I know that you guys have a lot of other items on the agenda. Mr. Rush was going to say something, but it's fine. As long as, we just want to reiterate that we appreciate the city and the school board's support of this program, and we hope that we can work together on it.
Okay, we will certainly take a look at it and get all the information to the full commission and have a discussion on that and talk with our city manager and Parks and Recreation director and see what might work out.
All right. Thank you so much for your
Okay.
time.
Okay, thank you all. Good to
Thank
see
you.
everybody. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Mhm.
Okay. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda. And there's 1, 2, 3 items on there. One is for a minutes of a called meeting. Another is the easement for the gas department. And the other is the bid for cleaning the public safety building. And Marie will read those summary.
We have the minutes of the August 25th, 2020 called meeting. Municipal Order 35-20, municipal order authorizing deed of easement between Henderson Municipal Gas of the City of Henderson and City of Henderson, and authorizing mayor to execute deed of easement on behalf of the City of Henderson. And Municipal Order 36-20, municipal order authorizing award of bid for cleaning services for the public safety building, formerly Peabody Building, to Jan Clean Incorporated, Evansville, Indiana.
Is there any of those items that a commissioner would like to pull off the consent agenda for further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
XR made that motion, and Brad can be a second, okay? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster. Commissioner Staton.
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles.
Aye.
Commissioner Buggs.
Aye.
Mayor Austin.
Next, we have a second reading of an ordinance that we talked about, and Chris Heimgardner made a presentation on it at our last meeting. I think Chris may still be connected.
Yes.
He is, in
I
case
am.
you had any additional questions. So Marie will read that, and then we will see if there's any questions.
Ordinance number 25-20, ordinance adopting schedule of electric rates and services. An ordinance approving and adopting a schedule of distributed generation electric rates and services for electric power and energy furnished by Henderson Municipal Power and Light to its housing authority, church, and public school customers and consumers. Rate schedule, housing authority, church, and public schools distributed generation rate schedule, general service distributed generation rate schedule, to become effective for all services billed on and after December 1st, 2020.
Is there a motion to approve, please? Second reading.
So moved.
Austin, will Austin make that and XR seconded? Any questions or comments for Chris? I think we're okay, Chris. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster. Commissioner Staton.
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles.
Aye.
Commissioner Buggs.
Aye.
Mayor Austin.
Next, is this a second reading too? Okay. Next, we have a second reading of an ordinance authorizing the insurance of general obligation bonds.
And this is the one that
This
I
is the one that's a
reported.
little bit long, and we're going to go with that right now. And Mark, thanks for being with us tonight.
An ordinance of the City of Henderson.
Glad to be here.
Kentucky authorizing the issuance of a City of Henderson, Kentucky General Obligation Bond Series 2028 in the approximate aggregate principal amount of $10 million, subject to a permitted adjustment, decreasing the principal amount of bonds by any amount, for the purposes of financing all or a portion of the costs of the acquisition, construction, equipping, and installation of 1, new municipal water, sanitary sewer, and storm sewer improvements and additions, 2, a new municipal fire station and related facilities and equipment, 3, a new approximate 58-acre sports complex, and 4, a stormwater system in Country View subdivision, and B, City of Henderson, Kentucky General Obligation Refunding Bonds, Taxable Series 2020B, in the approximate aggregate principal amount of $1,305,000, subject to a permitted adjustment, increasing the principal amount of bonds by up to $130,000 and decreasing the principal amount of bonds by any amount for the purpose of refunding in advance of maturity the city's general obligation bond, Series 2011A. approving the forms of the bonds, authorizing designated officers to execute and deliver the bonds, authorizing and directing the filing of a notice or notices with the state local debt officer, providing for the payment and security of the bonds, establishing bond payment funds for each series of the bonds, affirming the existing sinking fund, authorizing acceptance of the bid of the purchaser for each series of the bonds, and repealing inconsistent ordinances. This ordinance authorizes the issuance of 2 series of general obligation bonds designated as General Obligation Bonds Series 2020A in the approximate principal amount of $10 million, the Series 2020A bonds, and General Obligation Refunding Bonds Taxable Series 2020B in the approximate principal amount of $1,305,000, the Series 2020B bonds, and together with the Series 2020A bonds, the bonds, by the City of Henderson, Kentucky, the city. The Series 2020A bonds are to be issued for the purposes of financing 1, all or a portion of the cost of the acquisition, construction, installation, and equipping of a new municipal water, sanitary sewer, and storm sewer improvements and additions comprising a new raw water intake and raw water pipeline to be constructed on the Green River Eddy Point near Seabury, Kentucky, with a capacity of at least 8 million gallons per day. 2, all or a portion of the cost of the acquisition, construction, installation, and equipping of a new municipal fire station and related facilities and equipment to be located at the intersection of Zion Road and Garden Mile Road. 3, all or a portion of the cost of the acquisition, construction, installation, and equipping of a new approximately 58-acre sports complex bordered by the Audubon Parkway and Airline Road, Kentucky 812, consisting of 6 200-foot ball diamonds, 2 225-foot ball diamonds, 3 multi-purpose fields for soccer, football, lacrosse, etc., 2 concession stands, an outdoor pavilion, and 4 large parking lots, among other potential amenities. And 4, all or a portion of the cost of the construction and installation of a stormwater system to provide minimal stormwater drainage in a phased and joint effort 50-50 between the city and Henderson Water Utility in Country View subdivision, which is an older development of about 300 homes off Old Madisonville Road and built with little provision for storm drainage. 5, all or a portion of the cost of capitalized interest on the Series 2020A bonds, if any. 6, all or a portion of the cost of credit enhancement on the Series 2020A bonds, if any. And 7, all or a portion of the cost of issuance of the Series 2020A bonds. The Series 2020B bonds are to be issued for the purposes of financing the cost of 1, the cost of refunding in advance of maturity all or a portion of the city's general obligation bond Series 2011A maturing on and after December 1st, 2022. 2, all or a portion of the cost of credit enhancement on the Series 2020B bonds, if any. And 3, all or a portion of the cost of issuance of the Series 2020B bonds. Provisions are made in the ordinance for the payment of the bonds and the security therefore, for the application of the proceeds of the bonds, for the establishment of bond payment funds for each series, and the continuation of the city's previously established sinking fund, and for certain covenants of the city with respect to the bonds. The Series 2020A bonds are to be sold at public competitive sale and shall mature on or subject to mandatory sinking fund redemption in varying amounts on December 1st, 2021, and each December 1st thereafter through December 1st, 2040. The Series 2020B bonds are to be sold at public competitive sale and shall mature on or be subject to mandatory sinking fund redemption in varying amounts on June 1st, 2021 and December 1st, 2021, and each December 1st thereafter through December 1st, 2031. The bonds pledge the full faith, credit, and taxing power of the city, and provision is made for the collection of a tax to pay the principal of and interest on the bonds subject to certain credits, as provided in Section 7 of the ordinance. as required by KRS 83A.060. The following section 7 of the ordinance is set forth in its entirety. Section 7, general obligation. The bond shall be full general obligation of the city, and for the payment of the bonds and the interest thereon, the full faith, credit, and taxing power of the city are hereby pledged for the prompt payment thereof. During the period of bonds are outstanding, there shall be, and there hereby is levied on all the taxable property in the city, in addition to all other taxes, without limitation as to rate, a direct tax annually in an amount sufficient to pay the principal of and the interest on the bonds when and as due. It being hereby found and determined that current tax rates are within all applicable limitations. The tax shall be and is hereby ordered, computed, certified, levied, and extended upon the tax duplicate and collected by the same officers in the same manner, and at the same time the taxes for general purposes for each of the years are certified, extended, and collected. The tax shall be placed before and in preference to all other items, and for the full amount thereof, provided, however, that in each year to the extent that the other lawfully available funds of the city are available for the payment of the bonds and are appropriated for such purpose, the amount of such direct tax upon all the taxable property in the city shall be reduced by the amount of such other funds so available and appropriated. The undersigned attorney at law licensed to practice in Kentucky hereby certifies that the foregoing title summary of the ordinance of the city of Henderson, Kentucky was prepared by the undersigned and constitutes a general summary of essential provisions of the ordinance, reference to the full text of which ordinance is hereby made for a complete statement of its provisions and terms. Mark S. Franklin, Dinsmore and Scholl, LLP.
Does anyone want Marie to go through that again? Is there a motion to approve second reading on the bond ordinance?
So moved.
XR made that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Who was it, Austin?
Yeah.
We got a motion and a second. Any questions? Mark Franklin, our bond counsel, is with us tonight in case there's any questions that you have. And I think we're about ready to go on it, though. Mark, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, I'm fine if there are no questions. Just appreciate the opportunity to attend the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster.
Aye.
Commissioner Staton.
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles.
Aye.
Commissioner Buggs. Mayor Austin.
Aye. Next, we have first reading of an ordinance amending the pay plan. And I want to mention one thing on this ordinance, the ordinance on the amending the budget and appropriation, and I guess that's the two. Now I mentioned this, I've mentioned this before, but when Robert and Buzzy and the department heads got into the budget preparation last year for this year's budget, it was very uncertain in a lot of ways on revenue and expenses. And so a lot of things were not put in there just in case we had a problem either on revenue or expenses, and you know, the budget had to be really cut in there. So what has happened is we're on schedule, and I sent you some financial information today through October. We're on schedule, so I feel okay now that we can put these in for the last half of the year. Okay, Marie's going to read that. I'm sorry.
Ordinance number 27-20, ordinance amending pay plan. Ordinance adopting a revised job classification and pay plan for the city of Henderson, which reclassifies certain non-hazardous positions, establishes new police hazardous duty and fire hazardous duty pay grade and salary ranges, and approves providing for 1% cost of living adjustment for city employees of the non-hazardous and fire hazardous duty job classifications effective with the pay period ending November 29th, 2020.
Is there a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Patty made that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Austin, second. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster? Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Commissioner Buggs?
Aye.
Mayor Austin.
I don't think it makes any difference. I'm going to skip over one here and go to the ordinance amending the HWU budget, because that also relates the reason for
Okay.
the reason it's because that's also for them to amend their budget to reflect the new pay plan, just like the city is doing.
Ordinance number 29-20, ordinance amending Henderson Water Utility Budget, and ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2020, and ending June 30th, 2021 for Henderson Water Utility of the city of Henderson, Kentucky.
Is there a motion to approve the amendment for the HWU budget to provide the identical pay plan? XR made that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Austin, second. Any questions or comments? I think Tom may be on the line there too, if anybody needs to ask Tom a question, but it's, I think it's pretty well explained. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster? Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Commissioner Buggs?
Aye.
Mayor Austin.
Aye. We've got another long read coming up now, so catch your breath. We have an ordinance amending the budget and appropriation ordinance.
Ordinance number 28-20, ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance. An ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021 for the city of Henderson, Kentucky. Whereas on June 9th, 2020, the city of Henderson adopted its annual budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021, being ordinance number 11-20. And whereas the city manager recommends that the following additional amendments be adopted. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Henderson, Kentucky that ordinance number 11-20 is amended as follows. Number 1, general fund, administration, $2,760,380. Finance, $2,430,250. Fire, $7,592,150. Parks and Recreation, $1,635,380. Police, $8,131,040. Public Works, $2,588,250. Information Technology, $872,570. Others, $1,612,980. Transfers, $5,110,000. Total, $32,733,000. Number 2, there is hereby appropriated from the general and special fund accounts of the city of Henderson and allocated to the various funds of the city the following amounts. General fund expenditure total, $27,623,000. Transfer to PWI, $1,133,000. Transfer to Mass Transit, $331,000. Transfer to Construction Fund, $1,132,000. Transfer to Emergency Communications, $500,000. Transfer to Police and Fire Pension, $378,000. Transfer to Civil Service Pension, $82,000. Transfer to Cemetery, $234,000. Transfer to Bond Fund, $1,320,000. Total General Fund, $32,733,000. Natural Gas Fund, $15,521,000. Health Reimbursement Arrangement, $480,000. Civil Service Pension Fund, $86,000. Police and Fire Pension Fund, $378,000. Cemetery Fund, $477,000. Bond Fund, $4,766,000. Public Way Improvement Fund, $1,779,000. Construction Fund, $2,119,000. Flood Mitigation Fund, $471,000. Card Operating Fund, $1,529,000. Sanitation Fund, $3,885,000. Emergency Communications Fund, $1,596,000. Tourism Commission Fund, $169,000. Community Development Fund, $522,000. Police Investigation Fund, $31,000. Tri-County Recycling, $4,000. Number 3, the number and classifications of city employees as recited in the revised authorized annual budgeted positions and pay plan is hereby approved as presented. Number 4, the city manager is authorized to hire an additional 1 police officer when it is deemed necessary by the police chief and the city manager due to the length of training necessary for this position. This ordinance shall be effective as of July 1st, 2020. This ordinance of amendment shall become effective upon its legal adoption.
I think Marie has one little
I
update.
do have a correction. The transfer to civil service pension under the general fund is $80,000 instead of $82,000, and the transfer to the cemetery fund is $236,000 instead of $234,000.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the amending budget and appropriation ordinance? XR moves. What's the motion? Is there a second, please?
Second.
Austin second. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster? Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowles?
Aye.
Commissioner Bug?
Aye.
Mayor Austin?
Aye. Next, we have an ordinance regarding the annexation of Hillview Enterprises, also known as the Sports Complex.
Ordinance number 22-20, ordinance regarding annexation. An ordinance annexing certain unincorporated territory to the city of Henderson, Kentucky, which property is located lying south of the Audubon Parkway and bounded on the north by the Audubon Parkway, on the south by the Airline Road, Highway number 812, and on the east by Goldsberry Coal Company Incorporated, PVA parcel 67-77, containing approximately 58.1 acres, more or less, in Henderson County, owned by Hillview Enterprises, LLC, and portions of Audubon Parkway and Kentucky Highway 812 right-of-ways for a total of 78.074 acres.
Is there a motion to approve, please? So moved. XR made that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Brad, I think
Second.
we, and Patty. All right. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster? Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowles?
Aye.
Commissioner Bug?
Aye.
Mayor Austin?
Aye. Next, we have an ordinance amending some utility electric franchise information. And on this one, Marie, I'm going to ask Dawn to explain what this is before you read it, please.
Yes, Mayor, we were contacted by Kentucky Utilities, who provides electrical service in Highlander Acres and in Partridge Run portion of the city, about asking permission to use the city right away to do some upgrade work in Partridge Run. We, the way that the Kentucky Constitution works is, in order to allow a utility to go into the city rights away, we have to have a franchise with them, and we currently don't have a franchise. KU does have some utility easements and cartridge runs, but they run behind the houses, and what they would like to do is to go in our right of way. It would make it much easier for them. So with that, we worked with our franchise attorney and prepared franchise ordinance that would allow Kentucky Utilities to bid on a non-exclusive franchise with the city. We, in this franchise ordinance that's presented to you, we are not requesting franchise rates at this point at a 0% rate. However, you all would have the flexibility to take that rate up to 5% with a 90-day notice. But at this point, we cannot include that in there, and this would allow Kentucky Utilities to do the work that they'd like to do in the city's right of way.
Gotcha.
Ordinance number 30-20, ordinance amending chapter 23 utilities. An ordinance amending chapter 23 utilities by adding new article 10 electric franchise, sections 23-210 through 23-229 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson, creating and establishing article 10 non-exclusive electric franchise of Chapter 23 Utilities for bid of non-exclusive electric franchise for the placement of facilities for the transmission, distribution, and sale of electrical energy within the public right-of-way of the City of Henderson for a 20-year duration, reserving the right to impose a franchise fee not to exceed 5% of gross annual revenues from the franchisee's sale of electricity to electric consuming entities inside the City of Henderson's corporate limits, and further providing for compliance with relevant laws, regulations, and standards, indemnification, insurance cancellation or termination, and bid requirements, all effective on date of passage.
Is there a motion to approve, please? XR made that motion.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
We get
Austin.
Austin, okay, thank you. Any questions on that? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster? Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Commissioner Valve? Commissioner Bug? Mayor Austin?
Oh, aye. Okay. As you know, we have had a very pleasant experience working with Habitat on 3 new single-family homes on Letcher Street across from the East End Park. And they, because of the COVID and this, that, and the other, they have not been able to have a celebration for that. But instead, they've done a video, and I'll share that video with y'all right now.
I am very excited because today is the day that we get to hand keys to 2 families.
And these houses will no longer be a house, they will be a home.
Because you're not just building homes, you're building communities, and you are changing lives.
I'm so thankful for the opportunity to buy a house to make a forever home. Programs like Habitat that can assist a single mother and other families like me in bettering their lives of our children will forever be appreciated. I can't wait to see the smile on my boy's face when we finally get the key to move in.
Every day it was, why can't we live in a home? Why can't we live in a home? We're used to a home. And I understood that to them was safety. That to them, home meant safety. And I would see the cars at 7:45 lined up. And on the hottest days of the year, they were in there working for me, for my family, so that my grandkids could feel safe once again.
I'm going to present you all with the keys to the house. Enjoy it. You the same. I get to bless you with the keys, okay? We enjoyed building it and couldn't have built it for a better family. But let me say this. Ray, the mayor, all the people, I'll do any project they want to do together. It's been an ease. It has. You've been a great person to deal with, and I think everybody needs to recognize these.
It's been our pleasure to be involved with this project from start to finish.
3 of many that Habitat have done, and we look forward to more opportunities in the future.
We wish not only the families, but Habitat and all of the sponsors great success in the future.
And especially all the volunteers.
We look forward to doing more projects with Habitat.
Almighty God, your grace is always extravagant. We ask that you bless this house and the home it has become for this family. May the roof shelter from storms, the doors secure them from danger, yet open wide to many friends. Thank you, Lord, for your grace demonstrated unto them through so many volunteers. May you eternally bless this house and this family. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you all.
It's, I know that y'all are always as excited as I am to hear those families and hear the tone of their voice, and it's very inspiring. And thanks to Habitat. We've got a couple of Habitat folks here with us, so they're all at the bottom of the screen. So hey, good to see y'all today. And so what we have today on your agenda.
Also our business partner, David Garber.
We need to turn on.
Okay, we have another opportunity to work with Habitat, and that is at 109 Thompson Street. And Habitat has an interest in doubling the size of that lot with another property next door, and working through a project there. So, do we have something you have to read on that?
Resolution.
Resolution, okay.
Resolution number 49-20, resolution declaring real property located at 109 Thompson Street, Henderson, Kentucky, PVA 2-17-7-15, surplus property, and authorizing donation of surplus property to Habitat for Humanity of Henderson, Kentucky, Incorporated.
Is there a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Give that one to Brad. Is that you? Brad, okay. XR second. And anything from our Habitat folks you want to add in there, or?
Thank you for having us today. This is
Yes, sir.
We really appreciate it. And that video, Darren Fagley did a fantastic job on that video. We're very proud of that. And I hope that y'all are proud of it too, because we appreciate the partnership, and it worked out better than I think any of us could have imagined. So thank you all.
Thank you and all the volunteers and all the sponsors, and it's a pleasure working with Habitat, and we really appreciate what you do for our community, all of you.
Thank you.
We do want to give a quick shout out to our Thursday crew guys. They were just awarded the Governor's Service Award by Serve America and Governor Brashear. So we are pretty proud of them for that. And you can see that on our Facebook too. That's a very prestigious award.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And they're the ones, the lady was almost in tears when she said that they were working out there all summer in the hot, and that's the guys right there. That's some of them she's talking about. So
that's right.
Thank you all again.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Royster. Commissioner Staton.
Aye.
Commissioner Bowles.
Aye.
Commissioner Bug.
Aye.
Mayor Austin.
Aye. We're ready to go. Thank y'all.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to skip one down here. Just a second. And to the miscellaneous, and Ray Nix is with us tonight, and Ray is going to give us an update on the building that collapsed on the corner of First and Elm Street. Ray, you may want to take that mic up there, and then we'll put it back a little bit on. Thank you.
Thank you. What I have to report is that the insurance investigations and reviews have now been completed. The building owner is reviewing their final options regarding the disposal of any hazardous material, with a final conference with the Kentucky Air Quality to be later this week, and that was the information that I had my conversations with the owner as of late Friday. I tried to contact him just before this meeting, but was not able to reach him and left a voice message. But I will update you as that date arrives. The building owner has indicated that the demo contractor for removal could begin within 3 to 4 weeks of a go date once this final meeting with Kentucky Air Quality is done due to their current backlog, and we anticipate approximately a 3-week final removal period for that work. So that's the latest update that I have for you currently, and I will continue to update you as I get final word on this air quality meeting.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Any questions for Ray on that project? It's, of course, run out longer than what we had hoped, and but the lady in Frankfurt had a illness, and
yeah, she
was
had
out
COVID
for,
as well, and that knocked her out for 2 weeks
yeah,
as well. So that's
seems like it's been one thing after another.
Yes.
But it is in the process, and it's recognized and being worked on, and we'll get it done as soon as possible. Thank you, Ray. The next item is has to do with annexation of Bent Creek subdivision and Bent Creek Estates subdivision. Dawn, you want to lead us off on that?
Sure. I just wanted to bring the commission up to date where we are on that. We have divided that annexation up into 2 annexations. The first annexation will go to the Planning Commission for a public hearing to set what the zoning will be, and that will be on December 1st. And then we will bring that to the commission for first read on December 8th. We'll start the second portion of the annexation in probably the end of January to go forward to a public hearing in February, because Planning Commission does not meet in January for regular business. So that's where we are in the annexation. The second read will take place sometime in December. Our schedule to be, our regular time would be December 22nd, but that's the week of Christmas, so we normally move that meeting. But Buzzy has not been able to work with us on a date yet. We'll have a date later on when the second December meeting will be. I think Commissioner Staton may have a comment on
Yes, he
this.
does. Let me say also, Dawn, was there anything that was discussed in the public presentation from Ms. Ayer that we need to talk about tonight, or we'll just work on that as we go through?
Well, I'm not sure that, none of those are legal reasons for an annexation not to go forward. As you know, this is a consensual annexation. As for streetlights, what we've done in other subdivisions that are outside the city provision is we work with the electric company that provides electricity, and the city actually pays for that for those streetlights. I would assume that once the full annexation happens, we will work with Kenergy, who provides that, and we would do that. As for, she said Ottoman Parkway. Well, Ottoman Parkway, you all just voted to annex in portions of Ottoman Parkway tonight. That's part we received consent from the state, so that all connects up with with Hillview, and then that will allow us to go across the street. As you know, I think Patty is downstairs. Will someone go downstairs and let Patty in? Sorry, I just saw Patty on there. And then the last thing is, she talked about sidewalks. Well, as you all know, we do control the development of that portion of the subdivision. So that doesn't mean that sidewalks, and I think preliminary plans for the sports complex will have sidewalks across the sports complex that I would assume then can connect across the street to Bent Creek. So I think those would be the way that I would respond to all of those.
Okay. Patty, somebody's coming down to let you in.
I'm
Patty?
so sorry. For whatever reason, my laptop's not charging, so I'm over here at the other door. Somebody's let me in now. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Okay, that's no problem.
Would you like to take a break, Mayor, until Patty gets up here?
Yeah, why don't we take a 5-minute break? Is that a problem for anybody? Okay, we'll get back, right at, 25 after, 26 after.
Oh, Steve? Mayor Austin?
Yes.
This is Chris Heimgartner. Do you want me to stick around?
You don't have to. No, I think we'll be okay from here out.
Okay.
I don't know of anything to, yeah, appreciate you being on with us all.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Got an awful lot of sheets here.
Still alive?
Yes.
Hey, Patty.
Patty, if you want. Quit charging.
We're good.
Try to turn the thing off. If you'll go to the off-key seat, that way they can move you on the audio. All right, thanks. Shut this thing down since it's not charging.
There was an old watch and you turn it off and the other stuff back there is just sitting right on the wall, yeah. Like it's, yeah, I'm from saying you there.
Okay.
You're fine.
Mr. Mayor.
I'm here.
You got 1 second before you.
Are we breaking already? Yeah. Are we breaking now? For about 2 minutes.
I think I forgot that you talked about being there. Yeah. And then it reminded me when, obviously, the anniversary.
Right.
Right.
Last time I was there.
We are still on.
Great. The group that I came in with, they were working when 9/11 happened. There's only 4 of us left. And one was out of the yeah, I mean, like there was only those 4 of us remaining that worked in water.
Dude, somebody called me.
Where you at, what?
Somebody called you, want to know where supper was.
From Louisville.
Right? I mean, Mark,
How about? The one from Louisville.
Okay. Okay. Brad, are you back on?
I am, Mr. Mayor.
Austin, are you back on, please?
I'm here.
Okay, we got everybody ready to go now. Okay, so we were talking about the annexation, Bent Creek subdivision and Bent Creek Estate subdivision. And we were about to turn it over to Brad. He had some thoughts on that. And so Brad, take it over, please.
Thank you. With regards to, was her last name Ayer? Is that correct?
Ayers.
Ayers, thank you. With regard to Ms. Ayers' comments, I had kind of a timely question and suggestion for the board. Typically, when you're thinking about annexing in a property or an area, you strive to do it by the end of the year to have a clean break, so to speak. If something is annexed in as of December 31st, then the following year they are part of the city and subsequently they owe property taxes as a result. I certainly understand just about as well as anybody the economic effects that have happened across the spectrum. Lots of businesses are still doing very well. However, if you're in the travel and tourism or hospitality business, you've likely suffered. My wife is a travel agent, and I can attest to that for this year. And in light of that, what I would like to suggest is that if we are going to continue to pursue the annexation of Bent Creek, which I don't suggest that we do not, that we shoot for an effective date of January the 2nd of 2021, which would be in just over a month and a half. And what that would effectively do, I have spoken with Andrew Powell, our PVA. I've also spoken with our city attorney, Dawn Kelsey, and a few others to verify this. But if we shoot for an effective date of January 2nd, what that does is allows us to move forward with the annexation of Bent Creek, if that is the desire and vote of the commission. But it does not charge them any property taxes until 2022. Because property taxes are levied on all properties in a given year that are on the rolls as of January the 1st. So on January the 1st, they would not be a part of the city. They would not owe property taxes in 2021. And that would give people time to recover. It would give the economy time to recover. And it would delay any tax obligations for their properties until 2022. And in light of everything going on, I would like to ask the commission to consider that as an effective date.
Thank you. What about, Dawn, or you may be able to answer this, or Brad may have already researched it. What about fire and police protection and things like that during that year that they would be?
Once they annex in, they will receive all city services.
All city services.
Starting
okay.
January 2nd, if that's the effective date that you all would go with, they would receive all city services. And obviously, the way that we have done it in the past, we don't have to, but as a courtesy, after first read, we generally begin city services for everything but sanitation.
Okay. And the only other question I have is that I don't know even how to word it, but all of the other 12,000 households in the community that are paying taxes, which supports the emergency services and other city services, is there any fairness issue in that we should worry about? I'm asking the commission that. I'm just not sure.
And Mayor, I actually had the same question posed to me as well. And there's no, for me personally, and I'm just one member of the commission, there's you know, there are fairness issues in my eyes on both sides. I think the actual use of police and fire will be very slim. You know, it's not like there will be calls out there every day, so it'll be seldomly used. But at the same time, we're talking about an annexation that would annex them into the city forever. And so we will, with the city, will reap the benefits of the annexation from here on out in perpetuity. And so, just in my opinion, to forego a year's worth of property taxes, just in light, you know, it's not. I don't think we should set a precedent here for future acquisitions or annexations. But just in light of everything going on, you know, I would like to see us at least consider it. And if I'm in the minority, that's perfectly okay. But if others on the commission feel the same, then I would love it if we would at least consider going to that January 2nd date.
Okay, I thought I didn't have any other questions, but I got one more, and this is not a hard one, I don't think. Would the delay impact anything that we were planning at the sports park during that year? Is there any correlation between those two at all?
There's no correlation between the existing agreements and expiration dates of any former agreements, if that's what you're asking, in terms of legality of the annexation. That pushing it off a week is not going to interfere with that.
Okay.
I have a question, Brad. You said you definitely did confirm with Andrew that, I know that's the way it is on personal property, but on real property, that if we waited till January 2nd, they wouldn't be assessed until 2022. You said you did confirm that with him, right?
I have confirmed it with Andrew Powell, and I've also researched that with Dawn Kelsey as well. And those are the answers that I've received back. Yes, is that if we annex them in as of January the 2nd, then their first property tax obligation will be due in 2022 and not 2021.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now, Dawn, help me out here.
Yes, sir.
If we want the commission to vote on this, can we do that right now?
Well, I mean, you can do it now, or you can wait. We're not voting on the ordinance of annexation.
That's what I was wondering.
But what you can do, if you all want to wait, we have a meeting next week. We have a special call meeting on the 17th, and we can make that an agenda item if you all want time to discuss it, because it wasn't on the agenda. And then if you all want to direct staff to prepare the ordinance in that manner, we certainly can do that.
Okay. You can do that without us actually taking a vote. You can just go ahead and...
But we can do that. If what we will do is we'll make this a agenda item for the next meeting, and that way you all have time to think about it.
Okay.
And then we can revisit it, and then if you all want to direct staff at that point to make sure that the publication effective date is after January 1st, we can do that.
Okay. Does anybody have an objection to that, doing that way? Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll have it on the agenda on the 17th. Put that on your calendars, because
That's next Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
At 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 o'clock next Tuesday. Okay.
And we're gonna have a work session after that meeting on the new fire station.
On the fire station location and so on and so forth, yeah. Okay. Next, we have a need to go into executive session, and our executive session motion maker is prepared and ready to go.
I move that the commission go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810, paragraph 1, subsection C, for the purpose of discussing pending litigation involving HMPL, Henderson Municipal Power Line, and Big Rivers Electric.
Okay. Is there a second, please?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.